Oh, God.
Anyway,
Anyway.
The two most important numbers in the dictionary in the universe, excluding 6 and 9, obviously. I have told you about my friend from many years ago bribing a homeless person for sex with a bottle of vodka, haven't I?
Yeah, we spoke about it about 5 episodes ago, I think, as well.
Yeah. I fucking still wake up with a cold sweat thinking about that dirty bastard. Anyway, the two most important numbers in the universe, apart from 6 and 9, obviously, are 80 and 20. I don't think we've spoken about the 80-20 principle on this podcast yet. Not explicit. I know we've mentioned it a couple of times.
No, we haven't.
Well, I'm amazed. Hey?
We haven't.
I'm amazed at how few people know. I think everyone's heard of the Pareto principle. Basically, a guy called Vilfredo Pareto back in the 18th century, I believe, 19th century. He just did a bunch of work. He's an economist and various things. He did a bunch of work, and he realized something like 80% of the property in Austria was owned by just 20% of the people, the wealth that is. And he thought that was a bit strange. So he turned his gaze elsewhere and realized it was the same everywhere. And obviously in years since then, 100 and something years since then, we could find, you just Google Wilfredo Pareto. Sometimes it's called the law of the vital few, the 80-20 principle, whatever. We found that it's almost a universal principle. And in essence, in any given system, society, biology, environment, whatever, software, 80% of the shit happening is down to 20% of causes. And the numbers ain't always 80-20, you know, they even have to add up to 100. So you can have a 93-12, in which case you'd say 93% of the effects come from just 12% of the effort, which is perfectly legit. But we say 80-20 because that's about where the numbers fall. And it's true. I mean, I remember some years back, I still got it, but it's nowhere near where it used to be for various reasons. We had a fetish blog, and we used to get a couple of thousand hits a day. And when you did the analysis on the numbers, you know, 80, it was almost exactly 80 and 20. Something like 78% of the traffic came from 20% of the sources. And when that traffic landed, 80% of it landed on 20% of the pages, you know? It was just fucking ridiculously close. If you look at a list of the cities in the UK, 80% of the population, it's something like 77% of the population live in about 18% of the cities. You know, it's just mad how close it is. And these are almost immutable laws of nature, as far as we're aware. And they crop up everywhere. I mean, you know, you do anything. You look at your carpets. The vast majority of the wear on your carpets takes place in the very few places, the places you walk. We all know this is true, but we've all got clothes we never wear and clothes we wear all the time. That's 80-20, you know, we've got 20% of our clothes get 80% of the wear, and so on and so forth. But it's also apparent in our businesses, and it's things like your existing clients. If you've got a large client, well, any kind of client base of any size, where these numbers can actually come into play, most of your headaches come from a couple of, you know, a very small number of your clients. It's 80-20. In the same way as if you look at you've got an e-commerce store, you find 80% of your sales go to 20% of the products. And if you look at the buyers, they'll come from 20% of the countries and all that kind of shit. But even when you put these things in front of people, you can actually put their sales figures in front of them, because I've done it in consulting sessions. They still don't believe it. Well, they believe it, as in they accept the numbers, but to them it's an academic exercise and bears no reality in actual real life, which is fucking stupid. Because if you take the 80-20 principle and really embrace it, it will change your life. Because what you will do, for instance, if you've got an email list or direct mail, and you just send your direct mail to the top 20% performers of your list, you'll save yourself 80% of the costs and still make about 8% of the sales. Mm-hmm. It's just ridiculous, but most business owners don't do this. But it also works in the more abstract, such as most people in the market themselves, say they put a post on LinkedIn, They try and please everybody.
Yeah.
And of course, by trying to be all things to all men and women, they end up being nothing to anyone of consequence. But if they think about 80-20, think, yeah, there's a very small number of people who are going to respond to this. A very fine message that's going to hit just a few people. When 8% of people won't listen to it. I'll do that. But they don't. It's about knowing. It's really an embodiment of the. I think most people would have heard the phrase, "Small hinges swing big doors."
Yeah.
Well, that's 80-20. That's saying that a large amount of effects come from a small number of causes or efforts. And our job, really, if we want to make life easy for ourselves, is to figure where those 20% things are and put our time and effort in there. So these numbers, they'll change your life.